Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay. Now it says we're live. Can you hear me? Can you see me? All right. So there we go. Hopefully this is, man, that took forever for that to cycle through and just say yes. Whoops. Let me get this fixed. I'm trying to block out that sun. That's the setting sun behind me. And there we go. I'm not going to get too much of it done, but I closed those Venetian blinds. I did. Okay. Let me see. Can you hear me? Can you see me? All right. There's one. Sumi says she can. All right. Hopefully that's everybody else too. Kaylin, great. Kaylin did another fantastic MRE. I think it was meal number 22, if I remember right, last Sunday or last night. Great going. Thank you for that. Hello, Utah Mike. Let me see who else is all here. I know I have Sumi, Phaeoxerus, Phil, Pete, Triple G Farms is here, and he's normally out on the roads. He works an awful lot, moving around and everything else. It's nice to have you home, Pete. I hope you weren't too affected. I think the Lampasas River didn't get it quite as bad as the others, but I know it's still a little bit above normal. We've got 2 more days of rain from what the National Weather Service is saying. Scott Hummer, Vioxerus. I think I saw Laura Mannion. Hello, Sumi, Kaylin Strain. I hope I got Scott Hummer. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, Kaylin, we've had really bad weather from here down south. So the number 1 affected area, close to 80 deaths so far, is in Kerr County on the Guadalupe River. And the number 2 in death toll is my county, Williamson County. We've got 18 dead. Travis County has 2. A couple other counties, San Saba County has a couple. I believe Concho Valley, Tom Green County has 1 or 2. But we've got, all throughout the central Texas area, the bad rain. As a matter of fact, for those of you who, I've looked all this up. And I will give you a link, by the way, as well. We've been in contact with, I'm a member of St. Vincent de Paul. And so on the first, third, and fifth Mondays of the month, we have our meeting from 6:30 until 8, and I have to leave a little bit early to get here for this. But we collect money and go out and help people who are in need. So right now we're really ramping up to try to help the people, especially here in Williamson County, along the San Gabriel River, who were displaced because of the San Gabriel River peaking 32 feet above flood stage. The Guadalupe River, 30 feet above flood stage. But the difference is the Guadalupe River did that 30 feet in an hour. Here on San Gabriel River, we did 32 feet in 6 hours. So a little bit better as far as, people had a little bit better chance to get out of the way on the San Gabriel River than they did on the Guadalupe River. So at 1:18 p.m. on July 3rd, which was last Thursday, the National Weather Service gave out a severe rain watch with flash flood watch and anticipating 5 to 7 inches of rain accumulating overnight. They changed that at 1:14 a.m. and said that there was life-threatening rain and an emergency alert system was activated along with flash flood, highly probable. At 3:45 a.m., the local Kerr County Police Department reactivated the emergency alert system, turned on the sirens, all the stuff that's required for the emergency alert system, and announced that the low water crossings were already flooded. Within an hour, the river rose 30 feet, and at 4:45 a.m., it crested. Now, the difference between the two numbers, you're going to hear rising 30 feet in an hour, which is true. It was below flood stage, right? So when it crested 23.4 or 23 and a half feet above flood stage. So that implies that it was 6.5 feet below flood stage when the torrent started. But it rose that 30 feet in less than an hour. So yes, there was no harm. The National Weather Service was fully had all the people they needed, all the money they needed to put out the emergency notifications. The alarms went off. Everything went off. One of the best explanations I saw of it was a press conference with the Governor Abbott, and he had, I believe his name is Tips, the head of the emergency management for the state of Texas. And this reporter was really giving him the sixth degree, really being obnoxious. And he looked at her and he said, "Ma'am, we can send out all the alerts that we want to, but it's not what we send, it's what people receive that counts." He said, "Let me ask you a question. Do you have the emergency warning system, EWS, active on your cell phone?" So you can get an app for your county on your cell phone, so that, and we have it here, so that every time something happens, you get notified. She says, "Well, no." He says, "Do you have a NOAA radio next to your bed, so that if there's a NOAA alert going off in the middle of the night, it wakes you up?" She said, "No." He said, "We can do everything in the world. We can send out all kinds of information, but if you don't purchase the radio to receive it, there's not too much we can do. We turn on the alarms. If you sleep through the alarms, you sleep through the alarms, and it's crazy." But so just a couple more numbers just to tell you how bad it was down in Kerr County. Now, so we've got, that's about 4 counties south of us, about 2 hours south of us here. Just west of Bear County, which is San Antonio, right there by where LBJ is, where his land was. But their average annual rainfall, for those of you who live in rainy places, you say, how you need to expect this stuff all the time. No, July rain in Texas, average for Kerrville is 1.27 inches. Okay. The flood of 1957 is the record-breaking height of the Guadalupe River there in Hunt/Kerrville, and it was at 7.21 feet. I'm sorry, this is rainfall in a 24-hour period. 7.21 inches in 24 hours. In 1957, that was the 1957 flood. July 4th of 2025, it was 13.5 inches in 24 hours. So it was double the record of, 65 years ago? So, there's an awful lot of backseat drivers. There's an awful lot of Monday morning quarterbackers saying, "Why don't you? Why didn't you?" and everything else. I think when all the facts come out, you're going to find out that there was just a tragedy. And every once in a while things happen. But the lesson for you as preppers, please make sure you have, and let me show you mine. No, that's my TID radio. Let me get my Baofeng. So this is the Baofeng UV15R, UV15 Pro. And so the UV15 Pro is a GMRS radio, and it has this right here, okay? No alerts right now from NOAA. So that is the NOAA channel that I just made sure we could hear. And there's no reports coming out right now from NOAA. So we're good to go. Okay, but get a NOAA radio, have it active there at your house. Check on the apps, see if your emergency management system where you live has an emergency management alarm or alert system. Enroll in it. They also call us on the house landline phone to let us know that there's something going on. It's your responsibility to expect to take some active role in participating in your county's emergency management system and notification system, because you have to be prepared, get the right equipment, get a little bit of equipment, do something to prepare yourself. Okay. Got a couple good pieces of news. Number one, we do have, I turned on my blood pressure cuff. My doctor, I had my appointment today because I'm having some problems with my post-surgical stuff. Both surgeries, it looks like I'm having problems with afterwards. And so I had an appointment with one surgeon today, and but they wanted me to take my blood pressure on a regular basis, and we're going to try steroids before we go in and do a corrective surgery. So hopefully that'll work things out for us. We're working tonight on this book, Survival Theory, a Preparedness Guide. We have tonight and Monday night, a week from tonight. That's the last 2 weeks that we're doing this book. So we're doing 15, 16 tonight, 17, 18 chapters next week. Then we're done with this book. The link for this one, which is the next book we'll be doing afterwards, is in the show notes. So you can get that. And if you do, then I get about 20 cents that I can donate to different charities. And so right now that's going to be really, really important because remember, 25% of everything I make on this channel goes to the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, where we help people like the people right now who are being displaced by the floods. 25% goes to our county food bank, and they are out right now distributing food to the people who have been displaced by the floods. And 25% goes to the Salvation Army. Right now, the Salvation Army is the largest single responder in the Kerrville area. I will give you, there is a Society of St. Vincent de Paul. That is the Notre Dame Parish and Notre Dame Conference of St. Vincent de Paul in Kerrville. And that's SVDP, Sierra. I'm thinking in Russian phonetics, Vasily, but Vasily's not going to do any good. Victor, Sierra Victor, Delta Papa, Semyon Vasily, Dmitry Pyotr in Russian. ND, Nikolai Dmitry, or November Delta, Kerr, Kilo Echo Romeo Romeo, Konstantin Yelena Roman Roman. And so SVDP ND KERR.org. Go there. You can directly contribute to them online if you would like to help with helping people who have been displaced as a result of the flood. That's the Society of St. Vincent de Paul in Kerrville. Then you can also, of course, go to the Salvation Army, and the Salvation Army San Antonio chapter is down there doing a wonderful job. We have the Disaster Relief Services, which is a combination of a whole bunch of churches in Austin who are down there helping. I know that Baptist Relief Services are down there doing an awful lot. Any of those organizations, superior organizations, please feel free to give your money to them. I would not be surprised if Bear Independent is, and he's got a disaster relief organization. He's in Missouri in the Ozarks. I would not be surprised if he doesn't bring his organization down here in the very near future as well. Then the good news is that our last Thursday of the month, we just did book 2 of the Blue Dawn series by Blaine Pardoe. He left a comment. He watched and left a comment on our book review. Thank you, Mr. Pardoe, for doing that. Thank you. I hope we give you credit for your book. The other one is I was in contact with Franklin Horton, we've had him on. We did his other series, and we did, that was one of the very first book series that we did after A American. And he has offered that we can do a drawing the last Thursday of this month, and whoever wins that drawing, I collect your mailing information, send it to him, and he will send you an autographed copy of the book that we're doing this month, which is going to be Locker 9. I've got too much stuff here. I'm not going to dig through to show you Locker 9 book, but there is a link for that one in the notes as well. Okay, so that's where we are. Let me see if we've got anybody else has joined us, and we'll get into this. The first chapter is basically about tactical stuff. It's all about tactical gear, tactical clothing. He mentions that he recommends a belt. I checked on the belt. He says $60 in the book. It's $100 now. The belt is basically this one. Okay. And let me see if there we go. So this is the belt. It's a tactical belt. He recommends you wear an inner belt and an outer gun belt, or outer equipment belt, he calls it. This is a fantastic belt. It's a very good service belt. This one cost me about $35. It's not the same manufacturer. My problem is that the buckle is a little bit wider than most of my trousers belt loops. Okay. So if you want a good belt like this, you're going to have to buy tactical pants. The other belt that I have, and this one was right at $30 as well, is a slightly different system. This kind of uses the military style belt buckle in the fact that you've got this little carabiner contraption here. So one part comes through here, then you fold it over, bring it against the front, the top part, and then when you pull on it, it pulls this bar back so that it snugs it in place. Okay, so this is the other one. This is also $30. I'm not going to put any links in the show notes for those. If you want a tactical belt, you're going to have to get tactical pants. I just recommend you take a look into it. You can go to any Army Navy store and get the current either tan or black military belt. I strongly recommend that. Wear one on your inside to hold your pants up. Wear another one on the outside for your accessories. Let's call it that. Okay. He talks an awful lot about camouflage clothing and stuff like that. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm just not pro. I'm for it. I kind of have a neutral standing. When I used to work, this is probably 10 years ago, I was the HR director for the 5th largest homeless shelter in the U.S. And so the conversation came up about being gray man. And I looked out my window because where I was on the corner of 7th and Trinity, my back window, my window in my office looked out directly into Salvation Army and their biggest sleeping area. But the people couldn't go into the Salvation Army. So they had this little angled doorway. And that's where all the people, the homeless people who weren't allowed inside our shelter or in the others because of disciplinary issues or something like that, they would go there to go to the bathroom. So I got to watch all these people go to the bathroom all the time. But anyhow, out my window, I was on the 2nd story, thank God. But anyhow, I kept track of what kind of backpacks they had and what they were wearing as far as clothing, saying, hey, what is it that they wear? Well, an awful lot of them wear military clothing because it's cheap. You can get it at the secondhand store. You can get it at Army Navy stores. I'm going to say 50% of them had Army-style backpacks. They even had kids' school backpacks. I mean, so the whole thing of try to look like what everybody else does. If you're downtown Austin on the corner of 7th and Trinity, and where there's about 500 homeless people milling around the 4 different shelters that are there, you can wear anything you want and nobody, except something nice, and nobody will know that you're not one of the homeless people. Okay, that's just the way it is. Also, don't wear blue or purple or gold, because that was our colors for our uniforms. We had polo shirts, purple and gold. You don't want to wear that because then you'll get mugged on the street, because they'll take it out on you that they got banned from the facility because of their violent tendencies. He recommends Kydex holsters. The one he recommends is Galco King Tut holster. I like Kydex as well. I also like the nylon holsters. I have 2 leather holsters, but about 10 years ago, I found out that I was allergic to leather. So it just happened kind of sudden onset. Not really allergic to leather. I'm allergic to formaldehyde and formoterol, which are the 2 chemicals that they use to tan leather. I will tell you, I bought my first pair of Morel boots. I love them, absolutely. However, I am sold on military stuff. So I still have my Vietnam combat boots, which are canvas with leather. I still have my regular active duty combat boots, which are just black leather. And I would love to have, I probably will go up to to this place, Syntex Tactical, probably either next weekend is when Bell County Preparedness has their meeting, or the week after. When they have their meeting, it's at 1:00. So I go up early. I might go get a pair of brown desert style combat boots from them. I swear, they know how important it is for us to take care of our feet. So I really respect that. Holly Ivans, hi. Shenanigans, welcome. Good to see you. Okay, let me see. He also talks about outside the waistband versus inside the waistband. If you're going to wear it inside the waistband, it's best to have a single stack magazine rather than a double stack. It's a little bit narrower. He mentions some specific models he recommends. I think the only single stack that I have one single stack semi-automatic pistol. All the rest of them are double stacks. Even my Smith & Wesson MMP, which is what I wear for concealed carry, that is a double stack pistol. So, but it's not, I mean, it's kind of it's barely 1.5 rounds wide, but they call it a double stack. Yeah, so here he talks about the Viking Tactics Cobra belt, which is the equivalent to this buckle and this belt. And talks about pouches. He talks about dump pouches and taco pouches and everything else. He talks about his battle belt and plate carriers and plates. I'm not going to get one. I'm so old, I'm afraid that if I were to wear a plate carrier and plates, that it would just slow me down too much. I'm kind of a Viking. At a minimum, you should purchase level 3 plates, is what he says. Well, I'm not going to have any. The reason the Vikings were so successful was because of their weapons, their training, and the fact that the only protection they had, sometimes they might have had a helmet, but they had a shield and a weapon. And they didn't wear, if they wore any kind of armor, it may have been leather, might have been some light chainmail, but the vast majority of the Vikings wore nothing. They had a shield and some sort of a hand weapon, usually a battle axe or a spear. But that gave them a lot more flexibility and a lot more speed. So I think that same thing, in my age, I don't need to be weighting down with level 3 plates. Okay. It's also very costly, to be honest with you. Okay. I think that's enough on equipment and clothing, because the next one is one of my favorite subjects, and that's chapter 16, long-term food. And so he brought up something I did not know, believe it or not. And I thought I was pretty good at knowing most of the providers well, I do know the providers, but he just gave me another source for one of the providers, which I thought was kind of neat. But he recommends having at least a 1-year supply of food on hand. I do too. I would make it 2, especially if you have not gardened in the past. If you don't know how to garden, then it's going to take you, there's a learning curve, and that's a very shallow learning curve. You're going to fail more frequently than you succeed in gardening. So have enough food to last you until you bring in your first successful crop. And then you want to store enough to where if then you have a crop failure the next year, you can live through that. So, some people recommend 2-3 year supply of food. That's not a bad idea. I think that's a wise idea. He says, be wary of following the recommended dietary allowance to determine your caloric needs, as they are designed for the average person who is in good physical health and performing minimum exertion throughout the day. He recommends, and this is, I'll put it in the show notes. Let me see if I can share it here. Can I share that? Share screen. Yeah, there we go. And calorie calculator. There we go. Okay, so what I did was on the first page of this, and this is BMI, Bravo Mike India calculator.net. So Boris Mikhail Ilyana calculator.net, BMR calculator. I'm sorry, Ivan. I is Ivan. But anyhow, so I put in my height and weight, 6'0", 6'0" inches. I put in my current weight of 185. It says I'm right at the bottom of being obese. That my target weight is 171. So in order to maintain my current overweight condition, it says I need 2,384 calories per day. Now, he goes on down, further down on this page, okay? the second highlight down here. And he says, but I recommend multiplying your baseline times a moderate lifestyle of 1.55 or an active lifestyle of 1.725. Obviously, you're not going to be leading a sedentary 1.2 or lightly active 1.375 lifestyle if you plan to survive. So I did the math on that. And where did I do the math on that? Oh, maybe it's in these notes over here. There it is. So if 2,384 calories per day is what I need to maintain where I am, I'm going to be moderately active, working instead of sitting here on my tush reading books all day. Then that's 2,384 times 1.55. I'm going to need just under 3,700 calories per day. So, that's something you need to take into consideration is planning how many calories you're going to need for yourself. Now, so let me stop sharing that. Let me share this other one. He recommends a couple places. I'll show you the one that I did not know existed. And I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. So he said, go to this company called Food Assets, and they sell rainy day foods. Okay. And I thought, whoa, has Rainy Day Foods changed their name? Well, it turns out this is just another way of getting into the Rainy Day Foods site. Okay. So I'm going to stop this one. I'm going to take you directly to the Rainy Day Foods site. Rainy Day Foods is, and I've got one pack picked here, the sample pack. So this is, let me get up here. Gosh, you guys here? Rainy Day Foods. Okay, I need to get this up to the top of the page. So this is the sample pack, 15 varieties in one. Let me get rid of all these things here. Okay, on the right-hand side. So each sample can contains one serving of sweet corn, peas, vegetable stew, potato dices, tomato powder, apple slices, banana slices, peach dices, cheese blend powder, which you can use with macaroni to make macaroni and cheese, butter powder, dehydrated milk, apple drink, imitation bacon bits, imitation taco flavored bits, refried beans. Okay, so that's in this number 10 can called the Sample Pack 15 variety. That's 32 ounces of food for $22. So that's a whole bunch of samples that you can use for your study. What's going on here is Rainy Day Foods originally was the food provider to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I don't know what, but there evidently was a falling out. So about 25 years ago, I believe it's because Rainy Day Foods was a private company and Desiree Foods is actually owned by the Mormon Church, I believe. And so now everything you get from the Provident Living Center at the Mormon Church is Desiree Foods. And so that's it. So here's the difference. Let me see. Okay. So here's one of my cans of Rainy Day Foods. This one is beef and mushroom celebrazione. Basically, this is the stuff you're going to put together and you're going to have kind of a Salisbury steak type of a deal. It's got small beef chunks inside of it. You're going to put this over mashed potatoes, noodles, or rice, okay? But this has the beef, what's it called? Gravy and the mushrooms in it, okay? You might want to add a little bit of onions, but this is going to be 16 servings, okay, in this can. So that's Rainy Day Foods. They have been replaced by this one, Desiree Foods, okay? And so this is what is currently being sold at the LDS Provident Living Store. So he mentions both of those in the book. He also mentions a lot of other companies, and we'll get into those here shortly. Let me see. We already talked about the recommended dietary amount. Buy the food you already eat. Buy what you eat what you store. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Although I do have some that I bought for the sole purpose of giving away. I really don't care for Vienna sausage. I have a whole bunch of cans of them that I can give away. I get, they're little bitty cans. And if you just give one away, dent the can, give it away, tell them this is all I have, something like that. That's good to do. SpaghettiOs. He talks about SpaghettiOs. They typically have a 2-year shelf life. I'm going to say, if you open them and they don't smell bad and they don't look bad, then, well, but then there are those who would also say, are you willing to take that chance without doctors and medical care? But anyhow, for instance, little Bobby loves SpaghettiOs. Let's say he eats between 1 and 2 cans of SpaghettiOs each week. This is for your planning purposes. That would mean you would go through about 75 cans of SpaghettiOs per year. So if SpaghettiOs have a 2-year shelf life, then you probably would not want to store more than about 150 cans of SpaghettiOs. Okay. And that's going to be, so you have to think of that because you're going to take the oldest and eat it, replace it, rotate, and always keep your oldest in front and your newest in back, which is why you should not put your shelving against the wall, this way, because it's very difficult to reach over and back. If you do it this way, then you've got one side that you can put it in, feed through, and pull off the other side. So you want to have the short side against the wall so you can get behind it and rotate your foods. Let me see. He talks about, and I wholeheartedly agree with this, and so please pay attention. This is something that you need to consider for yourself, okay? I am very cost conscious, and I'll show you that. I'm going to give you a show and tell here. I'm very, very cost conscious on almost everything I do. He says, there are those of you who think, well, I am going to pressure can my own food and not worry about long-term fridge storage, not worry about getting canned goods or anything else. I'm going to can my own because it's going to be cheaper. Well, yes and no. I just bought a pressure canner. We're looking at almost $100. Now, let's talk about a case of 12 1-quart jars. That's almost $20. Okay. Now the seals and lids, the equipment to get it in, plus the cost of the stuff you're doing, plus the cost of electricity or gas to boil up the water, and the water you're going to use for the pressure, and your time, and all the other things that are going on. Are you really saving that much money? Okay. So he recommends that you do that analysis when you determine how you're going to do things. Now, if you've been canning for a long time, you've got all the equipment already there, then yes, that's probably the best way to do it. If you are not, if you're brand new to canning like I am, maybe there are other less expensive ways of taking care of the same problem. And you can amortize that cost basically over time. Okay. So instead of doing 12 cans of bacon, like I plan on doing, you can buy 12 cans of ham or something like that. Let me see. So Shenanigans says she just opened a can of black beans last week that was out of date by 2.5 years. They're still good. No, absolutely. I can't say that for legal purposes, but use your common sense. Smell it. Look at it. We opened something the other day that went bad that had been in our system for a while, and we just threw it away. I ate a can of 9 years past BB Best Buy date spaghetti sauce that's what it was. It was spaghetti sauce last week, and he's not dead yet. Yeah, so I had like 12 jars of spaghetti sauce on the shelf. And so we were talking about what to eat, and I said, let's do spaghetti. We need to rotate some of that anyway. So we brought out a jar of ragu sauce that was 4 years old. Helen opened it up. She didn't like the color. Sometimes it's difficult, for her to accept what I believe. So I no sense fighting about it. I said, okay, throw it away. We'll just go get another jar. So we went and got another jar. The next jar we got was, and that was a 2-pack of ragu we got at Costco or Sam's. But almost everything else we had was Classico. I like to buy in Classico because they come in quart canning jars and Atlas canning jars. So when you pour the sauce out, then you've got a canning jar. So that's the reason I did those. But she was happy with that. So, sometimes you just kind of have to give in a little. But consider the cost, all the cost. Same thing if you're saving 15 cents on a can with Amazon Prime, then what you can get somewhere else, how much are you paying for that Amazon Prime membership? And then amortize that over all the products you buy so that you say, hey, this is costing me 25 cents per product for the Prime membership, but I'm saving $1.99 in shipping costs. Oh, okay. Maybe it is a good deal. Do that kind of analysis. Recommends having at least a 6-month supply of various freeze-dried or dehydrated vegetables like corn, carrots, peas, beans, broccoli, no broccoli, and the like to get you through until you can start growing and preserving your own vegetables in your own garden. He recommends Augusten Farms. So do I. If you see my pepper pantry haul from last Saturday, I got another can of Augusten Farms banana chips. They were on sale. Tomorrow is Prime Day. Go on Prime Day and look for Augusten Farms. I would say just go for survival foods. You're going to find a lot of good deals. I'm going to mention a whole bunch of companies here before 9 o'clock, I hope, and give you some clues on some of that. They carry a shortening powder. I couldn't find the shortening powder. The only one I could find was Emergency Essentials. But he says they carry a shortening powder with a shelf life of 10 years. So let me tell you the secret here. That shortening powder is good for baking and everything else. You cannot use it for frying. So and the same thing with the canned butter, okay? Anything that has an oil in it cannot be replaced with water. So when they take that out, it's very difficult to replace it. So you can use it for almost everything except frying. You're going to need ghee in place of butter. You're going to need lard or something like that, or oil or Crisco or something like that. But the shortening powder is not going to be something you can fry with. Kaylin, yes, the Augusten Farm potatoes are almost always on sale. I prefer the sliced. They come in 4 different varieties with Augusten Farms. They have sliced, diced, mashed, and hash browns. Then they also have another one. It comes in a package, not in a number 10 can, and it's called funeral potatoes, which is kind of like a potatoes au gratin. He recommends getting at least a 1-year supply of vitamin C and multivitamins for every person in your family. And then he ends it up on page 207 with a fantastic planning chart on all the stuff you need to get and what you need to have as a minimum for a family of 4 for a year. Okay. So now let's talk about the companies I recommend. In the notes down below, you read through it. I am a vendor. I am an affiliate for several companies, Augusten Farms. If you buy Augusten Farms directly from Augusten Farms, I get a 2% commission. Don't do that. Okay. I'm going to tell you, there's always a sale on Amazon. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, you're going to get free shipping. So I would much rather you save $5 than me make 20 cents. Okay. Please check out Augusten Farms on Amazon. Get starting tomorrow, especially with Prime Days, and take advantage of the free shipping. Take advantage of the fantastic stuff they have. I love Augusten Farms. Great products. I'm also a distributor for Mother Earth products. You'll find that in there. They come usually in 1-quart plastic jars, but I get some things there that I can't find anywhere else. And part of that is green onions. So if you notice every once in a while in my subscribe and save with Amazon, you'll see Mother Earth products, green onions, chives, some of the other things that I like to have for my soups and stews. Nutrient Survival. If you go to Nutrient Survival on their website and you use the code CWP, Cold War Prepper, Charlie Whiskey Papa, 10, then you get 10% off of your purchase. Okay. Now, please do not do that until you've spent over $350. And the reason is because at $350, you get $35 discount. But if you spend less than $350, you can choose a sampler pack as a bonus prize when you put in your order that it has a value of $35. I would much rather see you get the $35 free sampler pack than me get 20 cents or $22 in commission. Okay. Hi, Tammy Harder. So please go there, take a look at it. They have fantastic stuff. The one thing I like about them, this is one of my favorite meals from them. I bought this December 22. You can see a homestyle scramble. It's basically a breakfast. We call it Mountain Man Scramble, but it's basically scrambled eggs, bell peppers, onions, hash browns, all together in one meal. The only bad thing that I can say about Nutrient Survival is they don't have any protein as far as meats. Okay, everything they have is vegetarian basically. So that's the only. However, they offset that by adding in all kinds of vitamins and nutrients and all this other kinds of stuff. Okay. Of course, Thrive Life, Lee's Prep.thrivelife.com is mine. If you want to become a distributor, let me know. I will be happy to refer people to anybody here. Before you order, call me or send me an email. Let me know that you want to order, because I may have somebody who has signed up underneath of me that I would rather you actually purchase from them so they get a commission than purchase through me. I try to support people who sign up as distributors underneath of me. So if you're going to order, please send me an email. Let me know you want to order, and I'll give you who is on the rotation. It could be me. It could be somebody else. But I want somebody to get that commission. Okay. But anyhow, they have all kinds of good stuff. I just pulled one off of my shelving. This was my May 25 purchase, and this is diced chicken, grilled chicken dices. So that's a number 2.5 can, what's called a pantry can. I like to get smaller cans because that way when I open it, we can use it a lot quicker. Don't have to worry about storage. But you've seen me buying a lot of the vacuum sealers because I just really don't like these coffee can style lids. I don't think they do justice as far as preserving stuff. Hi, Laura Mannion. Okay. Next one is Valley Food Storage. Did I bring anything out from Valley Food Storage? I don't think I did. And then the final one is Azure Standard. I buy a lot of stuff from Azure Standard. Two things I buy from them on a regular basis. They have dehydrated orange slices, and they have dehydrated lemon slices. So both of those, if I can get fruit like that, that I can rehydrate, I don't find oranges or lemons any other site. So I like getting it from there. That's another company I strongly recommend. Let me go through this other stuff that I have here for you. This is a company that's available through Amazon Prime or Amazon. This is my April 25. I bought this. Now remember, we got to kind of take this freeze-dried dehydrated foods into two categories and then into another two categories. First category you want to divide it up into is meals versus components. So the Mountain House, the Peak Performance, the Wise Foods, the Ready Foods, the My Patriots supplier, whatever. Those are going to be pretty much meals. So it's going to be pre-cooked and then freeze-dried. It comes in a bag. You boil some water, pour the boiling water into it, let it seep, and then that becomes your meal. Okay. The other one is components, which is what most of everything I'm showing you here is. Now, this is actually a meal. This is that pre-cooked meal. Okay. You're going to take it out, add boiling water to it, just let it seep, and then it becomes a meal. This is a component, but we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Oh, we'll talk about it now. This is already cooked. Okay. Great for stews, soups, casseroles, things like that. You can't form it into, let's say, if this were ground beef, I could not form it into a patty or form it into a meatloaf. Okay. On the other hand, this is freeze-dried, uncooked. Okay. So when you reconstitute this, you can now take this, because it's just like getting any kind of raw ground beef at the grocery store. You can now form this into a patty or form it into a meatloaf. Okay. Cooked, you cannot. Raw, you can. Okay. And that's the reason why I buy those Forever Foods. I have different subscribe and saves with each one. So I do chicken tenders, sirloin steaks, ground beef patties, and ground beef are the four that I'm going to add a fifth one this month. I'm going to add the larger beef stew cubes. So that's that one. Another company, this company is primarily a supplier to the military, especially for nuclear submarines and assault submarines. This just add water, and these are pre-cooked, fully cooked. So all you have to do is let it seep, and you got this. So they sell primarily to the military, to the Navy. However, they do make things available to us, rather expensive. Okay, I have some of their things because they're just so difficult to find, like the turkey breast. This is going to be our Thanksgiving for 1 or 2 years. Okay. Another company is Future Essentials. Okay, this is powdered whole eggs. So there's a difference. This is scrambled eggs that's already been cooked. Okay, you add water, turns into scrambled eggs. That's all you're going to get out of it, scrambled eggs. This is whole eggs, raw. So you can use this for baking. You can use this to make scrambled eggs if you want to. It's going to be. Think of it like a jar of liquid eggs. Okay, once you reconstitute this with water. So this is pre-cooked. You can do baking or cooking with it. Okay, you cannot use this for baking. All you have is scrambled eggs. This is Future Essentials. So this was Emergency Essentials. This is Future Essentials. This is Mirepoix Mix because I like to have my gumbo and stuff like that. So they have different things that they do. This is August of 21. I bought this. This is Rainy Day Foods Spaghetti Sauce Mix. I made a list of all the stuff I have from Rainy Day Foods. Wide variety. I strongly recommend the company. Great company. I'm very satisfied with their products. This is a small family out of Iowa. They make their stuff and package it called Shelf to Table. And I bought these in August of 22. This is spicy pork Italian sausage. And the one thing I cannot find anywhere else, except here at 3 times the price, is meatloaf. So I've got 2 slices of meatloaf. When reconstituted, it equals about a 1/4 pound of ground beef meatloaf. So, no, Holly, all these are not in the links. I will try to put some in there for you. The ones that I make commissions on are in the show notes. I'll try to come up with a list and have that. Please don't go back and look for it until tomorrow. Okay. I have my men's breakfast at 8 o'clock, and then I'll come back at 9 o'clock, 9:30, try to put that all in. So I should have it in by noon. I'll put in all those links to all these companies that I think are just fantastic companies. Then, I showed you that, I think. Rainy Day Foods, spaghetti sauce. Okay, so the things, where are we time-wise? 10 minutes. Okay, so these are all the Rainy Day Foods. I went through my inventory. This is what I have. I'm not going to tell you how many. I'm just going to tell you what I have. I have powdered milk, cheese blend, which you mix with macaroni to make macaroni and cheese, vegetable stew, beef and mushroom celebration. I showed you that. Beef and mashed potatoes, beef fricassee, apples, banana pudding, cornstarch, salt, shortening, egg noodle pasta, tomato sauce, tomato powder, teriyaki sauce, spaghetti sauce, Alfredo sauce, enchilada sauce, brown gravy, 16 bean soup, ABC soup, which is basically, what was that we ate as kids that had the pasta that looked like letters in it and everything else. Gosh, what was that called? I forget what it's called. Senior. I'm getting old and senile. Golly, don't vote for me if I run for president. Okay. Vegetable stew, mixed bell peppers, which is red, yellow, and green. Carrots, mushrooms, onions, and sliced potatoes. Okay. So, and then of course, if you go to, here's my inventory for LDS, the Provident Living Center. So I keep an inventory on a separate sheet here, and it's just LDS stuff. It's nothing else on this sheet. So they have apple slices, black beans, pinto beans, great northern beans or white beans. These are all number 10 cans, by the way, except for the milk and what was the other one? Cocoa, milk, cocoa, and pancake mix come in packages, not in cans. Carrots, refried beans, but they no longer do the refried beans. White flour, macaroni, non-fat milk comes in a pouch. Quick oats, which are instant oats, and then regular oats. Onions, pancake mix comes in a pouch. Mashed potatoes, white rice, spaghetti bites. Now, spaghetti bites are basically they've taken spaghetti and broken it into three, so they're about 3 inches long, and then it fits into the number 10 can. So you're not going to get the long strands of spaghetti. They're only about 3 inches long. Granulated sugar, hard red wheat, hard white wheat, and then they have 50-pound bags, 30-pound bags of wheat, red and white. Then they've just recently come out in the past year with strawberries. And so I've got 3 of those now, but they've got the number 10 can of strawberries, and they really taste good. I like getting the fruits, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, primarily blueberries and strawberries, because Helen really likes instant oats. And so then what I can do is I can give her the blueberries and the strawberries and peaches to go in with her instant oats, and she really, really likes that. Okay, let me see if I can catch up with things. Alphabet Soup, thank you, Laura Mannion. See, you guys are so phenomenal. Thank you. Let me see. So I'm trying to read through here, and I'm about ready. Oh, okay. Somebody answered seasoned, then dehydrated. Yeah, so the tomato dices that I get with my Thrive Life order, if you notice, every time I get in a Thrive Life order, I have 1 can of tomatoes because I just think that's going to be really, really important. My personal opinion, I think the vast majority of what we're going to do in a post-apocalyptic world is be eating soups, stews, casseroles, and chowders. And I think that's going to be primarily what most of us are going to be eating. It's going to be the most efficient as far as fuel consumption, and fuel is going to be very, very difficult in a post-apocalyptic world. It's going to be easier to cook, quicker to cook, and you can thin it out with water and serve more people as well. But just be aware of the calories that you're going to be serving. Let me see. Azure Standard mashed potatoes are I have not had them. Thank you for that recommendation, Laura. I hope you're not talking about me about being borderline inappropriate. I hope I'm not that way. Now I clicked on that and I got something I don't. There we go. Got rid of it. Utah Mike says that instant oats. I lost it. It sprung up. Instant oats, a spoon of dried milk and dried fruit makes a great breakfast. Great. Thank you for that suggestion. So Holly Ivans has made soup out of freeze-dried chicken bouillon, dehydrated celery, and carrots. So good. Absolutely. So just another thing, a can of something like this, and then you can get the, what's the name of that company? There's a company at almost all the major stores, Bear Creek, I believe it is, that has, like chicken noodle soup, and it'll serve 8. So it's all in one package, all dehydrated. Add 4 quarts of water or a gallon of water, and you got a soup. Add in stuff like this, and then you can also add in carrots. You can add in celery. You can add in some more chicken bouillon. You can expand that and really feed a neighborhood with that. So yeah, very good suggestion. Thank you for sharing that. Let me see. If you're busy working to survive, you may have more flexibility in your diet. Oh, okay. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Remember, don't forget to order this one. I've been chatting about this one with Sumi. Um, I think she's already ordered it, if I'm not mistaken, and she's been kind of reading a little bit of it. But I will have a list of links for you to look at as far as some of the freeze-dried foods that I recommend. But remember, everything has an advantage and a disadvantage. Don't forget to get your canned goods as well. The disadvantage with the freeze-dried foods, the advantage is long-term storage. If you get it packed appropriately, okay, it's easy to stack, okay? So these are a little bit more difficult. I like getting the number 10 cans of nutrient survival because they are easier to stack. This is unbelievable. This and this and this, I have to put in boxes all by themselves because you can't stack them. They're difficult to stack and keep rotated and everything else. You have to put them in a box on your shelves. So that's the advantage: reduced weight. They're lighter than canned foods. Disadvantage is depending upon what you get. If you get the fully cooked, the advantage is just add hot water, you're ready to go. You can eat it in 10-15 minutes. No odor, no cooking, nothing. Just easy meal prep. If you get the uncooked, the raw freeze-dried, you have to cook it. So it's going to take a little bit longer. If you get the components, you're going to have to make your own meal. But that makes it easy to where you can modify your soups and stews on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, let me get here. I'm going to show you what I'm ordering this month. I was doing my inventory and I noticed I had two. So I'm going to go to leesprep.thrivelife.com and I want to log in here. Okay, log in. Shop. I'm going to go to shop so it doesn't show my personal stuff. And we're going to go to variety packs. Here we go. So I'm ordering the pot variety pack this month. The one pot starter. There we go. Okay, so let me get back over here and I can share this one. Okay, so here's what I'm ordering this month. It's the Chef Pack One Pot Starter. And if notice the discount here, if you just buy it straight off the site, it's $176.40. If you tell them that you want to buy, or you're going to start ordering regularly on a monthly basis, then you get a 15% discount. But anyhow, let's take a look at what it has. So this is a good little collection. It comes with 1 can of diced beef, 1 can of diced chicken, 1 can of chopped onions, 1 can of potato dices, 1 can of carrot dices, 1 can of sweet corn, and 1 can of green peas. So and it comes with like 6 different recipes to show you how to use all that and create different meals with it. I'm going to show you one more thing here. I'm going to leave it up on the screen because if you can go here and donate to the flood victims down in Kerrville, I would greatly. This is, I was telling you about it earlier. This is SVDP, St. Vincent de Paul, SVDP, ND for Notre Dame, which is the name of the church. So you got ND right here, Notre Dame, and then KERR, which is Kerrville, the town that they're in. So SVDP, ND, KERR.org. They have a donate button there. If you can afford $1 or $2, I can strongly recommend that. I know that 100% of the money you give to St. Vincent de Paul goes directly to the affected families. I am a volunteer. The gas that I use to go visit people and everything it comes out of my pocket. My time comes out of my pocket. I get no reimbursement whatsoever. I get no mileage. I get nothing. Everything is just donated because we love people and we want to help them in their time of need. So I'm going to leave that there. And with that, if you don't want to do that, then I can strongly recommend the Methodist organization, which is the Salvation Army. And then I can also recommend that you check into Austin Disaster Relief, which is a coalition of religious organizations. So with that, the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24, 25, 26. Oh, gosh. I've got that much memorized so far, thank goodness. So the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. Next week, we are talking about the last two chapters. And the last two chapters are going to be chickens, rabbits, and goats, oh my, or basically maintaining your own livestock. And then a biblical survival retreat recommendations. And then a biblical perspective on preparedness is then afterward. And that'll finish us up with this book. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Remember to be kind, polite, and respectful to each other, because togetherness is the only way we're going to get through this. Take care, everybody. Please stay safe and pray that no more flooding. We've got rain coming through Wednesday. According to Ryan Hall, y'all, my favorite online meteorologist, we're still going to have rain and torrential rain through Wednesday. So pray for us and keep us in your thoughts. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.